Segment 5, the politics. We're talking about a bound man, why we are excited about Obama, and why he can't win. The paperback to be entitled Why He Was Bound to Win?
Yeah, how he won.
Okay. All right. You've been talking about the way his moral authority as a black man is irresistible. Mm-hmm. Let me read to you an exchange that popped up in Christopher Buckley's new column in the Financial Times. It was a Q&A. He was taking questions from readers. A reader, quote, "It's clear to me that the current GOP, the Republican Party as it now stands, the current GOP has dissolved into the angry white people's party, much like the old National Party of South Africa." Close quote. Christopher Buckley, quote, "An interesting comparison," close quote. Mm-hmm. Now that Christopher Buckley can let that premise stand and slip by suggests to me that the Republican Party is on the defensive in the most profound
Huge
manner of my entire lifetime.
Yeah. Yeah.
How does the Republican Party grapple with this new man and the cultural phenomenon he has spawned? It is, by the way, overwhelmingly a white party.
That's right.
If John McCain received a majority of white votes, there is that racial element in the result.
That's right. What happened is the whites in general were stigmatized as racist. Liberals have now, by going with Obama and so forth, feel at least, their illusion is that they've gotten some leverage of their own and they've escaped that stigma. The stigmatization of whites now is focused like a beam on the Republican Party and on conservatism as a point of view in the world. This is now the sort of a racist, by definition, by default, really. This is where racism now is located, and we can all see it over there, and we can isolate it, and it's in those red states in the South and in the Southwest and so forth. And it is going to be a difficult struggle for the Republican Party, and they may end up betraying. And what I fear is that they will end up betraying what is good about them, which is those values of fairness and merit and so forth, in order to play the game, to get back in the game. That's how societies do begin to decline, because when you trade away those values, then the whole thing weakens.
Shelby Steele, quote, "The black illegitimacy rate remains at 70%. Blacks did worse on the SAT in 2000 than in 1990. 55% of all federal prisoners are black. The academic achievement gap between blacks and whites persists, even for the black middle class. All this will continue despite the level of melanin in the president's skin," close quote. And that's a horrifying set of statistics, but it's all true. Here's the question. Is there a Nixon to China opportunity here? That is to say, are there going to be things that Barack Obama can do of which people like Shelby Steele and I would approve because he's African American? Is he somehow going to be able to talk with new moral authority about the importance of education, about the importance of intact families? Do you see openings that he could pursue, and do you think he will?
Oh, I think yes to both questions. I think he already has certainly talked a little about responsibility, black fathers being more responsible. I give him credit for that. I think that's good. It's certainly not the first time. That's not a new idea for black America. Bill Cosby is the sort of most recent casualty to that.
But exactly, he paid a price.
He paid a price, and so Obama is going to he's going to utter it because, you see, it helps him bargain with whites, and so he's going to utter it. But is he going to really? What disturbs me is then he turns around and stands for, will advocate social policies that don't ask for responsibility, that in fact blunt the incentive, and that's what bothers. So yes, he'll give some lip service to it, but that's about it.
But his efforts to address the various pathologies of the underclass will be lip service.
Will be lip service, right? As I say there in one of those sentences somewhere, And this was, I think, again, from my experience in the Great Society programs, and so, people don't change because the government intervenes with a social program and so forth. It never happens. They change when they become exhausted with their suffering. The Civil Rights Movement is the greatest example of reform certainly in my lifetime. It happened when people said, "That's it. Kill us if you want, but we're not going to live a segregated life anymore. We're exhausted with this. Enough." And then change happens. They didn't care who the president was. They had no social government. The government did, no social programs from the government. The government did not support this in any way. In fact, tried to repress it. Nothing could stop it. When Black America determines that it's going to overcome statistics like that, they'll do it.
A century from now, who will be viewed as the more significant figure, Barack Obama or Martin Luther King Jr.?
Martin Luther King Jr.
Without a moment's hesitation.
Without a moment's hesitation. This was a man who again was, as I was just saying, who was leading an exhausted people into freedom, and saying people who were just ordinary people who and it was a movement of real dignity. One of the biggest problems Black America has, one of the problems why you see the statistics like that, is that we sold out our dignity to the government, who they're going to be the ones who are in the civil rights movement. Again, we had no government support. We did it. We did it and we had our dignity, and it was a magnificent achievement. We have to go after our dignity. Again, there ought to be that, and if Obama could speak in that language, it would be very helpful. I don't think he will, but it would be helpful.
Final question: the playwright and journalist of 20th century, Clare Boothe Luce, used to say that history would give even the most important figures just one sentence. Lincoln freed the slaves. Churchill defeated Hitler. Reagan won the Cold War. Take a guess at Barack Obama's sentence in history.
He's the first black man in the White House.
And that's it.
That's it.
All right. Shelby Steele, the author of A Bound Man, Why We Are Excited About Barack Obama and Why He Can't Win, to be retitled, I'm sure, in the next edition. Worth reading and rereading. Shelby, thanks a lot.
Thank you, Peter.
I'm Peter Robinson for Uncommon Knowledge. Thanks for joining us.